Hello, grade 10. How's everybody doing? I hope everyone is continuing to do well during these times of, quarantine, lockdown. I have no idea what we're in right now, but anyways, in advance, I just want to thank everybody who is participating in this online classroom. I hope that you continue to do so and get used to how to do this. So far, you've been doing an amazing job, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that we can continue to do this while we're away from the classroom. Anyways, what I want to do in this video is go over the quiz-like questions that was posted today. And by the time I post this video, I hope that most of you will have completed it. Those of you that have completed it, I will obviously give you credit for it and continue to give you marks for the class. Anyways, so we can go through them briefly, question by question, and just kind of give you like a model answer. But for those of you that have turned it in so far, and the ones that I have read, you are spot on, and everyone is doing well. And I appreciate you answering in complete sentences and complete thoughts. And I want you to continue to do so. And just a plan of action here. I hope to go over this today, post this later on, and then tomorrow or the next day we can jump into chapter 14, which concerns the formation of Western Europe. So I guess we'll just keep moving along here, and we'll keep doing the best we can, and I think that this Google Classroom will allow us to keep moving on and moving along. So with that, let's take a look at number 1. Explain how governance changed in the early Middle Ages. And the best way that I think we could answer this is basically government changed based on the society / political relations, where you had Europe once under the control of the Roman Empire, who demanded loyalty to the state, loyalty to the Roman Empire, being a good citizen of the state, being a good citizen of Rome, and following written law. However, once the Roman Empire collapsed and you had the invasions of the Germanic tribes, this changed that the socio-political relationship. You now see people being loyal to family ties and or loyalty to individuals, such as lords or nobles, rather than loyalty to like a unified state. So I guess you could say, this is how you see the fractioning of Europe at the time, but that's how you would say it changed. It changed from the idea of being loyal to a state and being a good citizen and following written codes of law under the state to a mode of governance that made people loyal to an individual or loyal to family ties. Okay, and I hope that makes sense. And again, please, if it does not, you can engage discussion on the Google Classroom site, or I encourage you to refer back to your book and or look into further sources on the internet into these topics. Okay. So, number 2, explain the feudal social order. So basically, the feudal social order was kind of that, if you remember in your book and on the video, the pyramid. What the feudal social order was a hierarchy of social classes that was created in Europe based on this change of governance, based on what we talk about in question number 1. So basically, you have at the top of the social order the king. The king would then distribute lands or fiefs to lords or nobles, who would then, employ knights as, protection for this land, and then the lord and noble would also provide serfs or the peasantry with land. And in exchange for this, in exchange for this, the serfs would be granted protection, and they would be provided land and a place to live. Same with the knights. While the knights were able to control some things, they would pledge allegiance to the lord or noble who was providing them what he was giving. So that's kind of the feudal social order. Number 3, explain the manor system. The manor system is kind of the economic side of feudalism. So the manor is kind of like how the feudalism was sketched out. Like you can look at it as like the manor was like its own little independent country. Like you have these, a lord or a noble controlling this manor who makes themselves like self-sufficient. Again, like they produce their own things, they sell their own things. They're not really importing too many things in this little area of land. They're almost like little independent countries. And this is where the serfs lived. So you'd have like a small village, a church, the farmlands, and the noble's castle. And again, the manor system worked in this way, that they were these own little independent countries, is the best way I can explain it. And again, you can look back in your book for visuals and things like this. And explain why the church was a powerful actor in the Middle Ages is because the church was able to control basically these lords and kings, or as they would call, the highest on the social order, the emperor. And they were able to do that both politically and spiritually. So the church was able to threaten emperors or nobles with things like excommunication. So if they didn't go do what the church wanted, they could be kicked out of the church, and then in turn they would lose their power. And also the church, supplied these, nobles and kings with a lot of money if they were in favor. So basically the church was able to control, lords and nobles throughout, Europe, and especially, those who were considered emperors of the Holy Roman Empire. It was actually, the church pulling the strings. So if you fell out of favor with the church and you were a king, you were in trouble in terms of your power. And the church knew this. So they would use this to their advantage to control who they wanted to control and how they wanted to control. But okay, have a good day. I'll be right back.